Hello and welcome to the next level. We're here again this week. We've made it 2 weeks now. I think that's awesome. So we're gonna give it a go and keep going with this adventure. First off, just the announcements for this week, and there are no announcements for this week, so moving right along. All right, so for a quick recap of what happened last week, Gildy had heard about a job. There'd been something about a merchant in the Shadow Forest, and somebody had gone missing, offering a reward, and thought to hire a crew to help with this, since Gildy is quite aware of how dangerous the Shadow Forest can be. Went and sought out Talon. That went really well and really quickly. Then searched through the city for the rest of a group, the right group, to really fit this mission, and ended up finding them in an area she didn't really expect, which was sort of the higher, nicer district of town, the Golden Gardens, in an inn called the Minstrel's Muse. They accepted the offer. One of them accepted some prepayment, and after that, Gildy left and sort of retired for the evening. Jacob was about to retire for the evening when he had a bit of a vision and realized that the voice he was hearing from the bard in the inn sounded really familiar, and went over and had a chat with them, and was surprised to find out it was his sister. Also met his sister's friend, a half-elf, I believe, from the far east. And they were going to catch up once Jacob got back from the current quest that he's on. Leon wanted to do some research on the Shadow Forest, and found out about the great library in town, which is just down the street from where they were staying. Went and did some research there, found out bits and pieces about the Shadow Forest from the library, from friends as well, and ended up staying the night there and doing their trance to get some rest at the library. Also learned of a connection to the Shadowfell. The next day, Leon was up nice and early and went to the House of Wands, where the elven owner gave them a bit of a deal on a couple of magic items that produced light. The items are a vial of liquid light and a rod, which was referred to as the bullseye lantern rod. Talon met the rest of the party at the south gate and didn't say anything, and just tailed them along from there. That was slightly awkward, but eventually the party accepted Talon and tried to talk to Talon, and that didn't go well either. So eventually, eventually they just accepted Talon into the group. At the end of the day, when they were starting to look for a place to rest, there was a farmer that came running out, yelling that he needed some help with something that was attacking its livestock. A fight ensued with 3 giant insect-like creatures. One was very wounded fairly quickly and fled, burrowing into the ground. The other 2 advanced and attacked the closest target, which was, unfortunately, Tor, who was gravely wounded and also seemed particularly not so fond of insects. And once the beasts were defeated, Tor was healed, luckily, immediately began smashing one of the carcasses into a pulp to take out the rest of his rage on them. During the fight, Talon used a boomerang, which returned twice, but on the 3rd throw just sort of kept going off into the night. And we didn't get to it on the stream last week, but the boomerang did return about 2 to 3 hours later, just as they were getting ready to go to bed. Just flew into the barn and right back to Talon. That evening, while on patrol, Mint noticed a shadow in the night. And it was the first creature that had been wounded coming back to claim one of the dead. Ended up killing them as well and taking care of that. Tor had an interesting dream to help calm the frayed nerves from this attack of a child curling up next to him, a child dragonborn. And Jacob dreamed of a childhood games with a half-elf girl, but then she vanished, as if she was never there before he woke up feeling vaguely uneasy. And we'll start it off at that next morning. There was been some stuff that's happened out of game, but I'm not going to go into that and sort of let that play out how it will. All right, so it is a miserable, slightly rainy, gloomy day as you set out the next day. Two things we want to set up right away before we get too deep into that. One is your question for this evening, and that is, if you recall from last time, Leon convinced the farmer that they should sleep in the barn and Leon would sleep in their house. To repay the farmer, Leon used prestidigitation and some other spells to clean up their house, make it look spick and span, mend any little broken things. So the farmer was very thankful for this. And before the characters left that morning, the farmer slipped something into one of their packs. What was it that was slipped into their packs by the farmer before they left that day? You can let us know. All right, and the other thing is Jacob's start of session roll.
Right. Intelligence?
Yep.
Eight.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cryptic as always.
I have no idea what it is.
Yep, that'll come up later on in the
I'm sure it
session.
will.
So, a miserable, gloomy day. You all have your cloaks pulled tight about you, and are trudging out into a path. Again, by this point, the road has turned into more of just sort of a rough wagon way, mostly just sort of packed dirt that's starting to turn into. It's not quite fully mud yet, but it's just a little bit slick. So going is not necessarily slowed that much, but just slightly awkward. And yeah, anything you want to do as the morning progresses?
Probably at first opportunity, Tor's going to thank Jacob for the save. And it's going to be a little awkward, because he's still a little afraid. Well, a little awkward for Tor. He's still a little afraid. He'll come up and basically just say, I mean, you're dead. And just keep walking.
I accept that. and I madly take out a little device and scratch something in and put it away. Like, it was my pleasure. I would have done it any time, and I will do it multiple times, I'm sure.
I kind of elbow you around the knee. I'm short and it's muddy. Carry me.
Up on the shoulders.
Yep.
What's that all about?
He's been dragging mount.
Impressive mount you have there.
Thank you.
How much does it pay? We can take turns. It's a human mount, but...
Moving on.
Together, they are ever so slightly taller than you are.
Beat out two gnomes any day.
Excuse me, Jacob, are you suggesting that you might be willing to give someone a piggyback?
For the right amount of gold, I mean, anything can be arranged, of course, but I was just wondering, how comfy was your bed last night, Leon? I mean, my back is quite sore from sleeping on the hay and the boards and the... Oh.
Well, I mean, I simply tranced for 4 hours, but I realize some of you think, why wouldn't you stay in a barn? But I just couldn't be caught dead sleeping in a barn. You understand, of course.
No.
Well, it's true. By the way, I have a glowing umbrella. Doing my best to keep the rain off of me. Undoubtedly stopping every little while to just clean off my boots as they get muddy. Just prestidigitation, clean them off. Yes.
I haven't showered yet this morning, so I come over with my grimy hands and my stinky thing. I'm like, let me carry you, good sir. I smell really bad right now.
Thank you, but perhaps not.
Next time.
Not yet, but maybe in a little while. And I move away. Doing my best, though, not to react, even though my eyes are probably watering. I'm not Yeah. And actually, I go over and talk to Torok and say, I just wanted to extend my apologies. I made a grievous error yesterday with the spell that I had cast and created a dust cloud that led undoubtedly to your injuries, and I assure you that I have, that it will not occur again. You have my word that such an error will not occur again, and I apologize. And I am definitely in your debt. I sincerely apologize.
And Tor just looks at you and goes, war is an ugly mess. You fought. You were willing to die. That is enough. And just keeps going.
Scurry up the side of the barn.
Yeah.
She is, sorry.
Yeah, and actually I'll use prestidigitation because undoubtedly Mint from walking in the mud has gotten some mud on you, and I like clean that off.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, we're tidy now.
Wow. Dave looks at his feet. You are.
I'll take it. I'm kind of your umbrella. Yeah.
Speaking of our battle yesterday, actually, I was wondering, I thought it might be good if we discussed what all it is that we bring to battles in case we can then devise some kind of a plan and understand how we can work together.
Oh, coordinator efforts instead of what happened? Yeah,
Exactly.
that would be nice.
Well.
Apart from, like, sandstorms, what else do you do?
Well, I can certainly move myself from one place to another. I have the ability to create a ray of cold that will slow people down, a ray of sickness that will make them less able to attack and do some damage. I also have the ability to put creatures to sleep, which I did not think of yesterday. I apologize.
Now, will you always be casting sandstorms on us? I have goggles. I just need some
No,
little heads up on that.
As I mentioned, from the rooftop I couldn't tell. I had thought that the ground was more stable than it was. I didn't realize that it would create the dust storm.
So you didn't actually cast a dust storm, you cast something else.
Yes, it actually creates a little whirlwind, and the whirlwind, if the ground does have loose particles and such on it, then it creates the dust storm, and I did not expect that to happen.
Okay, so it's just like a tiny whirlwind
Yes.
thing. Alright, tiny.
You've been in a forest before, correct?
Yes.
Shrubbery and...
But it was the farmland. I thought that it was just grass. I didn't realize that it was so dirty. It was my...
I lower my goggles. I'm prepared.
It was like my third or fourth battle I've ever been in. I apologize.
Okay.
Well, everyone makes oversights sometimes. But try not to do it again as much as you possibly can.
No, as I said, I assure you, I have learned my lesson. I will be much more careful casting in the
Well, on the subject of planning, as you all saw during the battle, I rely pretty heavily on my bow, but I do also have my musket and sword.
Sure. I'm a lightning dragon with a big hammer.
Fighter, sword, crossbow. Enough said.
You would all find it slightly, not necessarily odd, but potentially intriguing that Gildy does have a musket. That is a weapon that is mostly used inside the Empire. It is a little bit used outside the Empire, but just, yeah, it's probably a bit of an anomaly around here.
And Turok has not mentioned the very beautiful axe on his back.
Either.
I fling some fire around, a little damage. Really, I'm not much of a fighter, so I'll let you do it. I'll help out. I have a few healing spells. I'm sure that'll come in handy also. And I have some devices that I like experimenting with, especially in the middle of battle. Guaranteed to be almost safe.
So you
Almost.
were field testing anything yesterday?
Did I say field testing? I meant actively deploying in battle after months of rigorous testing. That's what I meant by field testing.
Okay.
Alternate definition from where apparently we both come from. That you've never heard. Moving on.
From the back of the row, Talon just says, I fight with my hands.
and a curved stick.
But you also have some spellcasting ability.
A little.
We've seen you have,
Elaborate?
we've seen you have Thaumaturgy. Do you have any other spells available?
Nothing offensive. What definition are you using for that word?
In terms of magic, sorry.
I was gonna say, I can change appearances.
Do it. I'm enthralled.
If there's cause.
Do it.
Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
Please don't waste a spell slot just because of these people applying peer pressure.
Yes, leave him alone. We don't have time.
5
to-
hours later.
Totally
Now I
believe
get
it.
bored by 5 hours.
Yes, town does not.
Anything else you guys are going to discuss as you travel that morning?
In terms of magic items that I bring, as you saw, I have boots that allow me to walk up sheer walls and things. I also have a bag that allows me to hold extra items than you would expect. And that is really about it that I have. Other than, of course, the 2 items that produce light that I have purchased.
I guess I might as well mention my boots. You may have noticed I walk faster for somebody with such short legs, so mine help me to walk at a normal-sized human's pace, and I can also occasionally dash back and forth during battle. But I can only activate that, like, rarely.
Torok's looking at the boots, not my size.
Not going there.
Oh, I also make experimental elixirs.
Yeah, even experimental is a word that's starting to really scare me.
And from last time, I don't think you used the one that.
Did you drink it as you went into the +1 AC one?
No, you used your
To
thing
heal
to
him.
heal me. You used
Yeah,
your-
but I threw it before the battle started. I threw.
Oh right,
You
yes you
+1
did.
So you
Yes,
still
did.
have
Yeah.
that then.
Yeah.
Did you drink it or did you not?
No, I did.
You did drink
You
it.
did drink
you?
it.
Okay.
I would tell you which one I have today, except D&D Beyond is not cooperating right now.
Oh,
No.
But I'll figure it out.
yeah, we'll get there.
It's still stewing.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Sorry.
So when you say change appearances, do you just mean skin color?
Carolyn,
Yes.
do you have a walking stick that you were using?
I don't think so. Why do you ask?
All right. There might be an item that I had given you that I'm curious if you were going to remember, but.
You might get a
Okay.
stick too.
Yes, I do not seem to have it in my notes at this time, but
All right.
perhaps it will suddenly appear in a later session.
All right.
I guess it should also be just something constantly remembered about you too, Leon, is that you can produce one object at a time, but still an object. Like a simple object or complicated or
So is this meant asking?
yeah, what's the limit to this?
I can produce one object at a time. It can be up to 3 feet long, 10 pounds. It lasts for an hour, and it has to be something I've seen before.
Okay.
Very small trebuchet.
I suppose.
Like a gnome-sized trebuchet?
Heard
It
of
wasn't
something
big
called
enough.
a fastball special?
No. We've talked about this. I still don't like the idea of it. I am not a ball you can throw.
It's about throw, more of a launch.
Gildy, also being a small creature, is horrified by this discussion.
I'm still riding on his shoulders at this point
Yes.
while we're talking.
And I'm getting glared at, I'm sure.
I have half a mind to take my helmet off and hit you above the head with it. Half a mind. I wouldn't actually do it.
All right. So yes, the morning progresses as you've continued to have your chat about different elements of things you can do. The rain does eventually sort of fade. It was just a light drizzle, and you seem to be moving south, and the system moving north. Still remains overcast for a little while, probably while you have your sort of midday meal. Still haven't reached the forest yet. Yes.
Is it wet? Like, is it still really wet when we go to have our midday meal?
Probably.
All right, then I am definitely creating a little stool for myself so that I don't have to sit in the wet.
Can you create a stool and a cup?
No, I can't.
But you can always hold the cup while you're walking and drink while you walk. Kind of
Okay.
thing, right?
Yes.
You're just talking while you eat.
But in order to, yeah, when we have when we actually sit down and have a break, I'm creating a stool for myself so I don't have to like sit in the wet.
That's great.
Yes.
All right.
For us to eat, I'll get off your shoulders.
I guess at the meal I just ask, just to seem to be
I emailed.
making small talk about things. Has anyone heard any news of the war that's happening in the north of Dell?
At the mention of the war, Gildy kind of stiffens and says, "No, I haven't heard anything."
No.
Anyone else? No?
I try to stay away from there. Silver Lake's nice.
It is.
No.
Such a talkative party.
Have you heard about the war? Is it something you want to share with the class?
No, that's why I was asking. I was just wondering. I knew that it was occurring, but haven't heard any news for a while. I didn't know if there had been any new developments or anything.
Would we have heard anything through kind of being in the tavern in general?
Yeah, like the general news from the front, which is in Dell along the Delver River, is that the war is there. It has not been going well for the Mornish Empire through the past summer. The war efforts are probably it doesn't really snow or get that cold in that area, so it's not really going to die down for the winter. But there's probably a bit of a sort of a lull. And potentially sort of some regrouping at the moment, but yeah, things are relatively quiet. Most of what the news you've heard is that the Mornish Empire had their asses handed to them pretty much on every river battle. Anybody who wants to can make a history check.
Why not? 8
8.
total.
Yeah, not much
Oh.
comes to you at the moment.
Um,
You actually would know a little bit that the Mornish Empire does have a decent navy, so that might be a bit of a surprise.
The least talkative one rolled a natural 20.
It's a skill.
No, that actually makes sense. You've got your ways of hearing
Got
things.
ways, yeah.
So yeah, you definitely know that it's a bit of a sort of odd that the Mornish Empire haven't been doing well in the river battles. They have a significant navy. They have ships with cannons on them, like massive seafaring ships. And probably the bit of extra news you've sort of caught is that the Del here people seem to be much better. Their ships are much smaller, much more suited towards river battle. So sort of much quicker, able to get around, and seems to be sort of the edge that they've got at the moment. So,
Okay. I will share that.
all right.
Ah, interesting.
So you're saying that the Mornish Navy, their ships just aren't as agile as these smaller ones?
More equipped for larger battles, not well equipped for river battles.
Ah. Makes sense.
Well, there's no point in talking about this now. We've got a job to do. If everyone's done, then we can get going and get to the forest sooner, and we can get this job done sooner and get paid sooner.
He tidies up, just starts moving down the road. Lunch is done.
Well, that was abrupt.
Can I make an insight check?
Sure.
Really?
No, I cannot. I have
Baffled by this behavior.
a total of 4. Where I'm like, oh. Yeah.
I'm gonna go for insight. Ooh, 21.
Okay.
I'm busy cleaning.
I'm going to send you a message.
Okay, my phone is upstairs, so email, please.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can email it to you. All right, I'll get to that in a sec. So the afternoon wears on. The sun actually starts peeking out. And by the time you're actually starting to see the shadow forest in the distance, sort of atop the sort of the hills that you've been getting higher and higher that you've been moving into, the sun is actually out. It's starting to dry things off. It's a decent afternoon. And as you're all just wandering down the road, yeah, I mean, you're being relatively perceptive, keeping an eye out for things. You all notice, it's not that subtle, a shadow pass over you. And you look up to see, it's a little bright sunlight and sort of where it is, a winged creature of some sort. But it sort of moves and banks, and you can see that it's a horse with wings.
I immediately look to see if I can also spot Talon, because maybe he's turned into this creature.
Ah,
Hmm.
no.
Oh,
Not
okay.
turned into the creature. You can spot Talon, not turned into the creature.
I was like, ooh.
Look at your talon, back to the Pegasus. Look at your talon, back to the Pegasus. Your talon could also be the Pegasus.
Yes, the Pegasus, for those of you that might know what it is, it does sort of a tight circle, a couple tight circles and lands. You can sort of actually see it sort of drops its head down to the ground and leaves something there. There was something that had been in its mouth. And then it sort of just backs off a little bit and seems to wait for you. It's just a little bit down the road.
Talon looks, I wouldn't say unhappy, but he sort of looks resentful in a way and proceeds forward towards the Pegasus.
Okay. Anybody else?
How far is a little ways?
40 feet.
Can we see what it
It
dropped?
seems to be a bag of some sort. There's definitely something heavy in the bag.
A stick.
Okay. What do we know about Pegasus? Should we roll like an nature
You can
check?
roll
or-
an Arcana check.
Oh, well then. Well then,
Pretty horsey.
rolled another 3, so that's an 11.
21.
So, 11 is good enough for you to know that
It's a horse with wings!
it is a Pegasus, and they are considered celestial creatures.
Alright.
You would know that sort of beyond this, yes, they're definitely celestial creatures. They're often the mounts of people either working for the gods or potentially even the gods themselves, or the messengers of the gods.
I relay that information. After you tell us it's a horse with wings. In addition to that, here's some other facts.
So, Talon is, Torok is very close on your heels as well.
Okay.
All right. You get there. It sort of, like seeing the two of you, it sort of nods to you just a little bit, and sort of backs off another couple steps and sort of nods his head to the bag.
And Torok takes a step back, noticing that. And this is not for me.
Talon again, that's slightly, nods, but more out of a formality than a, anything else. And steps forward and reaches for the bag.
All right. You pick up the bag.
Yep.
Assuming you look inside it.
I will look inside the bag.
Yep. There is a, for lack of a better description, a sort of a crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
a decent size, probably a foot in diameter, and a note with your name on it. And I will write that email while you're.
Alright.
Oh, silence for the viewers.
That's
Sorry, guys.
right.
I know this part's boring for you, so here's a little bit of
So, what you got there?
A gift.
From whom?
Pegasus.
Are
Ma-
Pegasus known for giving gifts?
Not usually. Well, they're known for giving messages.
It's not a baby, is it?
It's not a stork.
Is it?
No, but you never
It
know.
also has wings, but I could see the confusion.
I'm not saying it would be, but it could be. I'm just intrigued.
In response, Town says, "My God."
Well, holy crap, too. I was amazed by your.
Wait, I'm sorry. I thought a baby was slightly different, but you're saying you got a god in a bag.
You said, "Who's it from?"
Oh, I'm sorry. Jacob has me all confused.
Jacob has that effect on people.
We're discovering that.
All right. So you got something from your god, which is not a baby, or you're actually the actual deity in a bag. Excellent. Sorry, I'm caught up now. Sorry.
He pulls out, just to be kind, and he pulls out a crystal ball.
You, since you were given some information around this, can make an Arcana check. Anybody else with Arcana can make one, but the DC's got to be really high.
I probably don't make the Arcana check.
21.
23.
0.
It's pretty.
All right, but
You're not even sure it's there, actually.
It's a Pegasus.
Ooh, smaller. For some reason, Talon likes the ball.
you do know how to use it. Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, so a 21 and a 23.
23, 21.
Yeah. It could be a crystal ball, but given your 23 and given you just recently saw one, it is a drift globe.
Haha! And I'm like, oh, it's a drift globe, of course.
Of course it is.
What,
Well, I'm certainly glad I didn't purchase one.
what does it do?
It creates light.
Oh.
I actually give the whole description where I believe you say a command word and then it can float within, I believe it's like 30 feet of you or 60 feet of you. It creates light within a certain radius. It's excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Worth 300 gold. No, more than
Yeah.
300, 350.
50.
Yeah.
350 gold at the,
Yeah.
at the
So feel
House of
free to
Wands.
add that to your items.
Will do.
Yeah.
Towner says, "Should come in handy."
Yes.
Did you only get one?
Yes.
He's looking kind of in the bag to see if it's still empty.
Well, I have the
Take
two
the
light
bag
switches
and
as
just-
well, so now we have 3.
Does a little shake. There's nothing else.
Yes.
All right. So you
I will nod back to the Pegasus.
and it sort of receiving that takes off and flies away.
Out of curiosity, which god is that from?
I was going to say, which god is that? So I'm like, oh. The Archmage, if you must know.
Do I know anything about the Archmage?
Roll a religion check.
Ooh, I do. Not surprisingly. That is a total of 20.
All right. The Archmage is actually well known by you because they are a patron of magic.
Yep.
One second, I'll give you just a bit more information. So, there are many different types of gods. They are one of the neoteric gods or ascending gods. So one of the newer ones.
I undoubtedly rattle all of this off.
Yep. So the Archmage is also known as the Many-Faced Mage. They are, when they have been seen, they tend to, the most common visage they wear is that of a tiefling. They sort of rule over a domain of arcane secrets, mystical power, and mystery. And your family knows of the Archmage. Your family, if anything, you and sort of where you're coming, you probably worship the Tome Bearer if you worship any god. Sort of that's an older god that sort of does knowledge and magic and that sort of thing. The Archmage is a newer god.
Don't mention the Tome Bearer.
Yes. The Archmage is. So the difference between sort of the older gods and newer gods is the older gods tend not to be as physically involved in this world. The newer gods sort of have to be, because part of what they're doing is sort of building up their following and that sort of thing. So they are more often seen in this world and a little more active in this world. Yeah.
When it's convenient, I would love to discuss arcane lore with you.
Perhaps later.
I look forward to it.
Yes, it's certainly not convenient now.
But Talon didn't say no.
Weren't we doing something?
Yes.
Shall we
So,
enter
okay.
the forest?
Well, night is falling.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's probably best to camp
Then
just
no,
outside
you
for
will
now.
not enter the forest yet.
You set up a camp. I'll let you figure out who's taking watches and how you want to do that.
I'll take first watch.
I will.
What? I didn't take first watch last time. I might
No,
have to
no.
take first watch at some point.
And I'll take first watch as well.
Wait, both of us?
Well, you got
You
enough
could do,
people
like,
to do
pit-
3
yeah.
shifts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I'll take second then.
Second watch.
I'll go on the last watch.
Last watch.
Second.
Second. And
I'd spend some time awake and just trance for 4 hours, but I use the alarm spell
oh,
to like plant
So
that in a couple different places.
you'll roughly be there in the last watch with Talon. You can discuss matchmaking.
Yes!
All right.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Somebody give me the roll of a d6.
I got a d6 right here. Boom, 1.
All right. Then on the first watch.
Of course.
Yeah, you did it to us.
Roll your own fate.
Do we know about the other half of Talon's
This is why you never want to roll a 1.
He's half Golgath. And that's what we know?
Well, you can tell probably that he's half elf.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if we'd actually ever seen enough of him.
Yes.
I think.
So,
Well, you would have. I mean, doesn't have hair. He doesn't have a hood. But
Yeah.
you could probably, especially would
Yeah.
recognize like more of an
Okay.
elven appearance and
Cool.
ears and stuff. Yeah.
That's what I was just wondering. Awesome.
So, it is a clear night sky, and you can look out over the hills. Again, you're in a fairly high position looking north and east over sort of descending hills. Even potentially in the distance, before the sunset, you could see sort of the distant desert to the east. And in that direction, generally, when you're looking out there's nothing there. But your attention is mostly drawn to the west and the south and the looming trees of the shadow forest that is right there, sort of that you're camped next to. It does sort of dominate those directions, and you're close enough. I mean, you probably camped a little bit away, not right at the fringe of the forest, but you can hear strange sounds from within the forest, creaking and cracking of trees, growls and howls and hoots and other sort of strange noises you can't identify at all. It is just a little bit unnerving. And you scan the hills, nothing out there. But again, as your attention is drawn, actually pick one of the two of you. Roll odds or evens, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This is what happens when you're married. Okay, one more time.
There we go.
I
All right.
won. Okay.
All right, so
He's the loser.
You're both sort of
I'm
keeping an
sorry.
eye out.
No, it's wet. The paper's not gonna last.
But yeah. So, Mint, You are taking a look through the forest. You hear this particularly sort of odd sound, and you're trying to search for where it might be coming from. And as you're looking, you're fairly certain you see a set of red, glowing eyes peering back at you.
I don't like that.
And then you sort of just blink, and they're gone.
Hey,
And it's all darkness.
hey,
Yeah.
did you see that?
What?
I saw some red eyes in the woods.
Red?
Yeah, they were looking right at me.
Should you get some sleep?
Oh, I know this wasn't like a sleep hallucination thing. This was like red eyes.
Tor picks up a rock and throws it in that direction.
Terrible idea! Why did you do that? I ready my crossbow. I'm just like, why did he do that?
Give me a d20 roll.
Him or him? Okay.
3.
You hear the rock sort of crash through the branches and trees and sort of knock off of something, and sort of a hollow sound. That's it.
Think we're okay.
Never say that. Never say you think we're okay.
You finish your watch and are just a little bit hesitant to close your eyes once it comes to that, but someone else is on watch. They'll tell you if anything comes jumping out of the forest at you.
Before you two take your turn, I think I saw something in the woods. Tor checked it out, in typical Torok fashion. Might be nothing. Just keep an eye out.
He checked it out. Did he go into the forest?
He chucked a rock at it.
Oh. Okay.
Did he hit it?
No.
Well, I hit something, but probably a tree.
So then Gildy's kind of on edge from that, and
Yeah.
most of her watch is going to be looking mostly at the forest.
Both of you just give me a d20 roll.
18.
14.
Either.
Everyone?
No, just these two.
4.
All right. So you are super worried, but then you just fall into a sleep. You're already exhausted. Tor, you do not get a good sleep. You're like, I missed it all. You have trouble sleeping that night. You still get your full 8 hours rest, but it's a restless sleep. All right. So yes, 18. You're keeping an eye out on the forest. You're like keen. Nothing comes up at all that you can see. Everything's fine.
Okay.
I tried to make awkward small talk to get to know Gildy a little bit more. So, come here often? What brings you to the forest?
This job we're doing that I hired you for?
You're paying us a lot of money for this job. It seems that you may have some... I can't help but feel you have a personal stake in it. You can tell me.
Gildy looks hard at Jacob and she says, many people get lost in the forest and I go find them.
An interesting career choice.
Well, it wasn't much of a choice, but this is what I do.
And I assume it pays well?
Yes.
So what do you do when you're not searching through horribly dangerous forests looking for people that have gotten lost in it?
Gildy shrugs and she says, I live my life. I have some family in the city that I see occasionally, and I generally just spend my time looking for the next job to bring me into the forest.
Do you enjoy dice games?
No.
I could teach you. You might enjoy it.
Gildy sighs and says, all right.
Okay, so I'm going to teach her one of my favorite gambling games.
Yeah.
Go through there and go back and forth. I'm going to let her win a little bit to make sure that it's going good. But we're still kind of mostly keeping watch over the area. And you know what? I don't push for the money yet.
Yeah.
Trying to build a good rapport.
Okay. Gildy tolerates it, and she doesn't really enjoy the game, but she goes along with it in the same way that you might, if a small child comes up to you and says, "Would you like to play Candyland with me?" and you say yes, and you play Candyland with the child.
Ouch.
That is her general approach to this situation.
I hope I'm not aware of this. Is that perception?
Insight.
Insight. Thank you for playing.
It was good. We'll have to play again another time.
Of course.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, did you teach her one of the games that I'd sent along?
Yep.
Which one? There was Dragon's Teeth and Centurion?
Centurion.
Centurion, alright. Alright, so yes, your watch ends without any incident. You wake up the next set, but you don't really have to wake up. Leon, you're already awake. And yes, the last watch begins.
I inform Talon of what Mint and Tor had seen in the forest, and just let him know that he should keep a closer eye on the forest during his watch.
Thank you.
During your watch, indeed.
I assumed that Leon was president and heard that as well, but I was mostly directing it. I was mostly
Oh,
directing
totally.
it
It
towards
sounded like you
Talon.
were totally directing that at So yeah, in Elvish, then I just start striking up a conversation about, the arcane arts and things like that. And what kind of background did you have? Obviously, that explains why you have some spell casting abilities, even though you seem not to be a mage of any kind.
I grew up in a monastery. Yes. Well, more of a temple, but you get the idea.
Somewhat.
Yes.
Tell me more.
I lived there for years until I felt I had to leave. I made my way to Silver Lake.
And what made you feel like you had to leave?
There was something that I need to do.
Insight check. No.
Yes.
I think the highest. Well, no, I've rolled a couple high ones, but mostly it's like 5s and 3s.
Yes.
Good luck in combat, everyone.
Get those out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. No, just something I needed to do.
And what kind of training is it that you have in the arcane arts exactly?
Minor training, mostly illusion, deception.
Oh.
As I said, nothing aggressive.
And why illusion and deception? Why would your patron choose that?
He thinks to himself for a moment before answering, and he says, my patron felt that they were appropriate. They were helpful. Not awkward for Talon.
Every silence is awesome.
Is Leon one of those people who thinks that every silence is an awkward silence?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
All right.
What? I'm gonna ask too after the slightly awkward silence. Would be like, and what do you think that it is that perhaps the others had seen out in the forest? Are you from around here? Wait, where is this temple located? Which direction?
North, isn't it?
North
Northeast.
and
Well, I guess we've
north and a
traveled
little
east,
west.
so now it's a little yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
north and west.
I say
I've never
north
been.
north of Silver Lake.
Never been that part of the world.
It's nothing
Okay.
special. Also dangerous.
Yes. So much of the world seems to be so dangerous.
Most places are,
How
yes.
do people survive? I don't understand. Best adventurer ever. So what do you think it is that they might have seen?
I don't know.
Fred.
I've been keeping watch, but I haven't seen anything. I don't know what's out here.
Hmm.
I've never been.
Oh, you've never been in the forest? I thought that you and Gilly worked together.
Yes, I've never been to this forest.
Really?
Yes. What? Hmm?
You have been in the Shadow Forest before.
Well, so I thought I had, then I got confused at the last session, so I apologize. I thought it was that we were going to the Shadow Forest. I thought I'd been with, but maybe it was that I hadn't been with Gildy. Is that?
No, it
No, I
was
thought
when
he
you were with
said
Gildy.
but it was a different path the last
Yes,
time.
it was a very different part of the Shadow Forest.
Yeah.
You were in the northern
okay.
end of the Shadow Forest previously.
Okay, because originally I thought I had, and then I got confused. So there you go. That's right.
Yeah.
Town's back on there. I don't know what it is. I've never seen one here, but have I seen one here before? Actually, this is a good question.
Yeah.
Before
You
I
have
start talking.
seen things in the Shadow Forest. The things you saw did not have red glowing eyes.
Ah, yes. As I said, I don't know what it was. I've
What-
never seen one before.
What kind of things have you seen in the Shadow Forest?
I've seen. What have I seen?
Do you not recall what you fought?
I recall the fight. I remember kind of, almost sort of dying, but I don't remember what it was.
There was sort of wolves.
They were wolvy. Yeah, they were like
that were sort of,
going
yeah,
cloud or in and
ghosty
out of.
wolves.
Yeah, sort of shadow wolves and shadows.
Yes.
Yeah. So
All right. So yeah. So wolves and shadows. But they didn't have red eyes.
Alright. Slightly less creepy, I suppose.
Yeah.
Can I make a check to know anything about shadows or about shadow wolves?
Let's try Arcana.
Okay. Together, separately?
Yeah, together, sure. So this is sort of, given the research you've done about
Right.
the Shadow Forest and
Right.
the animals
Uh-huh.
within it.
Total of 20.
All right. So yes, you've heard from sort of the details. You've read of the Shadow Forest, of sort of these shadow wolves that seem to be able to sort of move within shadows and sort of jump around and are
Right.
otherwise sort of almost invisible when they're sort of in darkness. And shadows are a form of undead that just sort of come across as shadows
Right.
of sort of the previous person they used to be and sort of float and suck life from people.
Alright. Yes. Those things.
Yes.
Glad we had light.
All right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You can probably tell I keep being tempted to like make something, and I'm like, oh no, it glows, and no, I won't do that. So probably like every 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, I should have it. Wait, no. Oh man, no. So I'll probably like read a book or something, or get up and walk around a little bit. Yeah, but
Yeah.
definitely clearly feel weird not having a
Thing,
thing.
yes.
But it's like it's dark and it's gonna be like, hello, we're here, come eat me, and I don't want that.
All right.
I think as we're sort of finishing the watch period and before we wake the others, Talon will, if there's food that we have, kind of have his share. And his intention is once people wake up, he's actually going to kind of do a bit of a walkabout. And
Sure.
just see.
So morning dawns. You have all had a long rest. Your exhaustion is gone.
Yay!
I think actually, you know what? If I see Talon starting to eat, then I'm asking like, why
Mhm.
are you eating now?
Are you exhausted though?
When the others wake, I like to look around a bit.
May I come with you?
As you wish.
Right, but I eat too,
Alright.
and I'm
Mhm.
gonna go walk in the town.
The rest of you wake up, start having a bit of a morning meal, and you two go for a walk around. Are you scouting into the Shadow Forest, or are you just sort of moving around through the area? And
The
sort
area
of
that we're in,
edge?
I won't go into the forest yet,
Alright.
but just around the area, so that the eyes we saw came from the forest,
Yeah.
though. So I'll definitely, as I kind of go around, go to the edge of the forest, but I won't enter the forest.
All right. In the daylight, especially since sort of there's no trees blocking sort of things from the east, so you get sort of the sun as it's coming out. The forest doesn't really look that bad. This particular patch of forest kind of looks like most other types of forest, and yeah, you're looking through it, and it's like it could have just been anything. Maybe it was the moon reflecting off of something's eyes, and it just seemed red, and you're like, yeah, this doesn't seem that bad at all.
No.
And that's pretty much what the rest of you notice as well as you sort of start your day. So there is a very specific path into the forest. The merchants were following sort of a known route through the forest. It's not a recommended route. Most people don't take it, but it's sort of a shortcut that merchants like to take, and risk versus reward. They'll give it a shot. But yeah, the day is nice and bright and sunny, and you start moving through the Shadow Forest. Gildy is definitely on edge, and leading and very sort of aware of things.
Before we enter,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask, how long do we think we'll be in the Shadow Forest? How long do we think this will take?
Well, it's hard to say when you're looking for something you don't know where it is. What would you say is the longest I've ever been in the forest looking for somebody?
2 weeks.
Okay, so I relay that information to Leon. I say, the longest I've ever spent is 2 weeks. I assume that is out of the ordinary.
Yep, and you probably would not have found the person you were looking for.
Yeah. But that was, I had unfortunately have to give up after searching for them that long. I didn't have quite that many provisions for that particular journey, but usually it takes me more like
I'd say 5 days to a week is relatively standard for sort of one of your trips into the forest.
okay. Normally it'll take me about a week.
Oh, goodness. Next time we accept a job, we should ask beforehand how long it will take us.
Well, I bought myself extra rations. I assumed it would take time.
Oh.
I should have thought about taking care of you guys a bit more. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm a survival.
I am not concerned. I obviously will not let you starve while we try to do this. If at any point we find ourselves low on rations or need for any other reason to exit before completing our job, then we will, of course, endeavor to go back to the city.
All right.
Before we enter the forest, I pull out a little rectangular prism, which you two have seen before. We found that in the desert. And I basically take that, concentrate on it for a second, let it go, and then it starts to orbit my body.
All right.
In the morning, I'm making another potion.
Yeah.
Nice. I have
Alright.
healing and swiftness now on me.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
All right. So yes, you enter the forest. It is a bright and beautiful day, blue sky above you. Given sort of the path that you're on, it very quickly becomes like this is a fairly thick and dense forest. It's almost like you're going through sort of some sort of corridor outside with trees as pillars along the sort of path. And there's enough foliage above you that the sun is not always peeking through, but there's like shafts of light that peek down. It's like any other forest you've been in. You're like, well, this is fine. Gildy
Trees,
is freaking,
shrubs.
like, yeah. Gildy is definitely not freaking out, but she's on edge and aware and everything else. And you're like, I don't know why. Yeah, you start down the path. You can tell it's been used before. There's wagon tracks here and marks in the ground. Yeah, it's in like any other forest you've been in. Yeah. And it stays that way for most of the morning. You travel for a significant distance into the forest, and you're still sort of sticking to this path. You're sort of following the trail that you're sort of aware of and sort of where you know things to be. And yeah, you're like, well, this isn't so bad, and you're at least aware that this is one of the generally not as dangerous areas of the forest. So if anybody else is commenting on this, that's sort of where you can be.
After about half an hour, I forget how careful we're trying to be, and I create a walking cane.
Yeah.
And I've got the glowing walking cane.
All right.
Because also, I mean, it's a forest, so it's not the easiest of footing, and I'm
Yep.
tired and.
You get to a slightly larger, sort of roundish clearing area and have your midday meal there. You know this is where the merchants were camped, where the person was taken from,
Okay.
and where you're expecting you will need to actually go off the path and search into the forest.
Okay.
If you'd like, you can give me a survival check.
While she's doing that, if I can ask.
Yep.
So she knows this because this merchant was taken, but he or she was with others,
Yeah.
and they made it back.
Yeah. There was
Okay.
a caravan moving through the forest. They camped here.
Mhm.
They woke up. The person was gone.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's a 13 on that check.
All right. You definitely find a path, sort of a trail of some sort of something leading off into the brush to the south. You're not quite sure exactly if that's where the guy had gone, but there's sort of broken branches, and it looks like something went into the forest south of this area.
If Tor notices,
Yeah.
he also looks around as he has survival. as
Sure.
well.
I have survival too, if I may.
Or you can aid, which would give Tor advantage.
I'll aid.
Okay, well, that's not going to help. That would be a 6.
Well, no, giving you advantage means you roll again,
Oh, okay.
and you take the better of the two rolls.
Oh, that's nice. Well, that's much better. 21.
All right, so we discussed last time as to whether or not we, talk about rules as we go along in the game, and I generally said no. I changed my mind. So yes, generally, if someone is helping someone else, then that gives them advantage on a roll. Means you roll twice and take the better of the two rolls. If anything gives you disadvantage, it just means you roll twice and take the lower of the two rolls, and you can sort of, there's different scenarios where that happened. I put some rules up on our website. That's thenextlevelgame.com. If you want to know a little bit more about how advantage and disadvantage works, then there's a little post up on that as well. All right, so what was your total?
21.
21.
And I will read the rules.
All right. So yeah, you definitely point out that you're looking in this specific area, and Tor comes over and sort of takes a look at things. You notice there are some specific sort of drag marks on the ground that lead to that sort of area of the forest. And in the forest, yeah, there's definitely sort of some broken twigs. There's even a tuft of cloth that you notice, like 5-10 feet into the forest. You're fairly certain that whatever was taken, this man must have been unconscious. There's no signs of a struggle at all. Like there's no thrashing where the thing is on the ground. He was just dragged south.
So Tor would convey all
Yeah.
of that.
Can I investigate the area that had been the campsite?
Yep.
Cool.
Is there anything specifically you're looking for?
It really doesn't matter, because I rolled a 1.
All right.
So-
You thoroughly investigate the campsite, but you're also just a little on edge because you're in the Shadow Forest, but also this is a normal forest. And I mean, it's probably the thickest forest you've been in, especially potentially in a really long time. You get a little distracted by look, there's a little flower there, and there's that bird up in a tree. Yeah,
Trees and shrubbery and dirt. Jacob was right. That is exactly what it is in a forest.
So Gildy is impressed and pleased with all of the detail and stuff that Tor and Mint have found, and so she says to the group, if we're all done our midday meal, then it looks like Tor has found the spot that we need to go off the path here and start looking for our man.
Do you think that now might be a good time to detect for magic, or should we wait? It can last for 10 minutes.
Gildy considers this, and she says, now is as good a time as any, I suppose, as we go off the trail.
All right, then we can wait for 10 minutes. I will cast the spell.
All right.
So then I cast Detect Magic as a ritual. And then
Yeah, so sort of sensing 60 feet, I believe, out into the forest.
maybe? Might only be 30 in this edition, I'm not sure.
I think it's 60. You can let me know the distance, but at this point you're not sensing anything within that range.
Okay. Yeah, for the duration you can sense presence of magic within 30 feet of you.
30 feet, okay, I was
Yeah.
wrong.
If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school of magic, if any. Blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 foot of wood or dirt.
All right.
Yeah, and it lasts
that
up to
would-
10
10
minutes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So after your midday meal, you start moving through the forest. Things very quickly. This is not like moving on a path at all. This is dense undergrowth. Your movement slows to a crawl. This is considered difficult terrain, so you're essentially half movement. And there's so many sort of trees and underbrush around that if you're pretty much more than 20 feet apart from anybody, you probably can't see them through the forest. So how are you traveling? Are you traveling in sort of a line in a clumped up group in sort of 2 lines traveling parallel to sort of try and keep not too long of a line, but yeah.
Slightly tiered in our case.
Yeah, I'm on top of my dragon mount again.
All right.
You guys should have got little things that would like fit.
I know, right?
I mean, Gildy's traveling in front, yeah?
Yeah. So
So-
Gildy will be traveling in front, and it's also as a ranger, I have the ability Natural Explorer,
Yep.
Oh my god.
which means that I have a favored terrain type. So just reading off of a little bit off of D&D Beyond. The bits that are relevant. While traveling for an hour or more in your chosen terrain, in this case forest, difficult terrain does not slow your group's travel. Your group, yeah, it does say group and not just me, does not slow your group's travel. Your group cannot become lost except by magical means. You remain alert to danger even when you are engaged in another activity. You can move, so then the U's are just me then. You can move stealthily at a normal pace while alone. You find twice as much food while foraging, and while tracking creatures, you learn the exact number, sizes, and how long ago they passed through the area.
All right.
Does that, it says creature, does
Yeah.
that include human beings?
it
Such as
would
the
include-
person we're
Yep.
looking for?
Yep. Yep. That would potentially include them.
Okay. So I guess the relevant thing there is I would like to know how long ago.
All right. Make another survival check.
Can I assist?
That's a 23.
If you want to assist, sure.
I
So
think
assist
you're
means you can roll again and take a better roll if you got it.
So, okay, well, I might as well. That is not as good.
All right. So 23.
Yeah.
But still good.
I will say you don't find any markings of people moving through. What that tells you is actually something that's potentially a little counterintuitive, that something took this person and didn't leave marks.
Interesting.
So
So
what is your
yeah.
sorry, what is your travel order?
I'm going to be right behind Gildy because I'm using Detect Magic.
Right, yep.
So yeah.
Anybody else?
I typically go at the end.
Yep. Jacob,
Middle. I'm,
Alright.
I'm pretty much in mid.
you guys want to be sort of
Sure.
towards the front of the back?
Well, at this point, so the question: so is Tor continuing like the perception and like investigation to try to like track that like piece of
Yeah,
fabric?
Tor-
So would
Tor's
you be
keeping-
more near the front then?
Actually, it'd probably be better for Tor to be at the absolute back, so he can perceive what's going on and keep a lookout. Because he has survival, he has
We'll
perception,
protect the
and
people in the middle and the front.
Tor also has a danger sense as well.
Yeah. Remind me how your danger sense works?
Advantage on dex saving throws against effects that you can see while not blinded, deafened, or incapacitated.
All right. Okay, so You're sort of keeping single file, keeping relatively close. Are you actually leaving any space between you, or sort of keeping in a really close line?
I'm assuming we leave 5 or so feet. Like,
All right.
I'm right behind Gildy.
Yep. All right. So yeah, traveling a little bit. That means that probably, even with your sort of elevated height riding on Tor's shoulders, it's very hard for you to see the people at the front. You can sort of catch glimpses of them now and then through the trees, but you're mostly following sort of the trail of people ahead of you.
I blame the 2 gnomes that are taller than I'm used to. And
All right.
see over top of them.
Yeah, so you're moving over like high gnarled roots through branches and bushes and fallen trees. With Gildy's assistance, you are moving at a relatively swift pace. She's letting you know exactly where to go, exactly sort of how to place your feet, and sort of everyone's sort of following suit after that. There is no path. The forest looms dark and close around you, and here the trees are starting to grow a little bit more twisted. The trees along the path were relatively straight. These trees are a little bit more twisted, a little bit more as if tortured and writhing in pain, but still, you know, they're frozen, except when they sort of creak and crack with the wind moving through them. The shafts of light definitely become fewer and fewer as you move deeper into the forest, and this definitely becomes an area of dim light. The sort of the foliage overhead gets thicker and more tangled. You can't really see the sky anymore.
This seems terrible. Why do you come here all the time?
And just about the time you're saying that, darkness engulfs all of you.
Wow.
Jacob, as darkness engulfs you, you have a bit of a memory that pops to mind.
Oh no.
Of all the times.
It's very faint. You can't really get a sense for where you are other than darkness. It's really hazy. There's some maybe distant voices. You can't quite tell what they're saying, or if they're far away, if you're just not remembering them very well. What you can tell is that your back's against something hard. You're sort of low to the ground, and you remember a terror, like you're cowering, you're afraid, and even though there's no one else around you, like you can't quite see fuzzy, but you sort of hold out your hand and say, "I'm scared." And there's this warmth which surrounds your hand, and a voice from the darkness says, "I'm here." And it's a comforting and familiar voice. And you calm just a little bit. Then there's a sharp crack, and you're instantly sort of brought out of your vision, and the darkness that engulfed all of you for a moment of terror just drifts away and is gone. And you know this to be the shadow smoke. And what you essentially all see is this sort of drifting bank of fog, but it's not fog. It sort of moves like fog and sort of twists and twirls and fills the forest, but it's utter darkness. And even those of you with dark vision, you could not see through it.
That was scary.
Yeah.
I've still got the walking cane
Yep.
that glows dimly 5 feet. Couldn't see that?
Nope.
All right. That's creepy.
Yep. That is the shadow smoke, as it is called. And it is just randomly filtering throughout the forest. Gildy will probably mention that it's probably going to get thicker and more common
Yes.
the deeper you go.
Yes, I read about the shadow smoke.
And I think
Didn't
we're a little
sound that
overdue
terrible.
for our break, so we'll take a quick break there, and we'll come back and see what happens.
I want to see what's in the bottom of our packs from the farmer.
All right. Yes, so...
We'll announce it after the break.
Yes. Do we have a response? Do we need to remind the people what... Okay, so yes, we'll come back.
Yeah, we can remember. There's some new viewers, so go ahead and remind them.
So yes, the reminder of what we'd asked from our viewers tonight was when they left the farm that morning, or 2 mornings ago, the farmer had been so thankful that Leon had cleaned up their house that they'd slipped something into somebody's pack. What was that? So I believe we have an answer. We'll find it after the break. Thank you. We'll be back. Welcome back. The next level. When we left off, our characters were intrepidly moving through the Shadow Forest and had just encountered their first encounter, I suppose, with the shadow smoke and how it completely blocks out vision. So yes, you watch that bank slowly drift off into the forest until very quickly you can't see it again, and you start to wonder about this forest, and it is getting darker, and the day is sort of getting, probably mid-afternoonish, but it doesn't seem like it. Seems like evening at this point. And as you travel, you start to see more and more of it, not necessarily passing over you, but just sort of banks of it that are moving through the forest. Again, moving like fog, usually relatively slow moving, actually. The first one was a bit of an anomaly. And then you get to a point where there's really no more outside light at all. It is solidly dim light under here. It is like it's sort of evening or night in a dimly lit sort of city. You know that it's still sort of mid to late afternoon. The sun should be out. It should be relatively light, but not here.
It's dim light, but regardless of dark vision still, or is it dim light?
No. So with dark vision, you can see perfectly fine through dim light, but
Okay.
it's dim light is sort of the quality of light that you have around you at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Is that due to sort of like some kind of mystic thing, or is it just the
Just the
coverage?
fact that there's so much sort of
thick
thick,
foliage?
dense forest around you. Yeah.
Okay.
And how long have we been traveling now since we left the...
Oh, this has been a couple hours.
It's been a couple hours?
Yeah.
Okay. Then as we go, I would definitely have checked with Gildy then about whether you would want us to, because I had Detect Magic, that'll last for 10 minutes, and it takes me 10 minutes to cast it. Are we traveling 10 minutes, spending 10 minutes? Do we want me to constantly have Detect Magic available? Or was it just for that first 10 and then forget it and we'll just travel and then cast it if something comes up?
I guess my question, Rob, is would I have a sense of whether of how helpful Detect Magic is? Do I know about?
It would be moderately helpful. Most of the things that are in the Shadow Forest are not sort of magical and might not register on sort of with Detect Magic, but there would be some things that might. So it might be moderately helpful.
Okay, then I would say yes, if possible, we would
Okay.
have that kind
All right.
All right.
So then we're traveling 10 minutes, then stopping for 10 so I can cast it again, then traveling for 10, then stopping
Yeah.
for 10, then traveling for 10.
All right. You definitely get the sense that there's something about the shadow smoke. It faintly registers on your
Okay.
Detect Magic. It is not natural.
Okay.
All right. So you're moving through the forest. It's getting potentially you think maybe within the next hour or two you might want to find a campsite, and you all become aware of something in the forest around you. You can hear it. There's something moving through the forest. You don't know if it's trying to be stealthy and failing, but there's definitely something out there. You can make a perception check to try and find out more of what you can hear and how.
Oh, wait.
Nope.
12. Nope.
Nope.
7.
Dandelion.
Aha.
13.
21!
Yes! Oh my god. So first I rolled a natural 1, but I'm a halfling, which means that I have the racial trait of lucky, which means if I roll a 1, an ability check.
Yeah.
I can re-roll and I must use a new roll, and my new roll is a natural 20.
So you two being in the front, ooh, and you sort of call a halt, and you get the sense that there is a natural 20 and a 21. Definitely more than one creature out there, probably 4 or 5, and they are all around you. And as you sort of, with these good rolls, as you sort of look, you can see something that looks kind of like a deer, only if you imagine sort of a dire animal, what a dire deer might look like.
A moose?
Imagine the antlers are sort of cut off in places and sort of sharp and jagged. I mean, they're sharp and jagged anyway, but sort of seem like they're almost forcefully meant that way. The eyes are glowing red. and it almost seems to have this sort of bit of an exoskeleton on it, like bones protruding and sort of covering areas of it. It does not look friendly, and it kind of looks like it wants to hurt you. And so this is the nice mini I have that looks like a deer. The rest of them do not, but they are all the same thing that is around you.
Okay.
Yes, well, they're probably not that close yet. But yes, they are all around you and sort of, yeah, seem to be closing in on the group. I'm going to ask everybody to roll initiative.
Do those of us who made our perception check get advantage on initiative?
No. You just know that they're there. And everyone actually knew that they were there. No one's surprised in this round. Okay. 25 to 20?
24.
24.
Go.
Guilty.
I get an extra modifier to initiative, so.
Yes. 15 to 20?
17.
Yeah.
16.
All right.
16.
17, 16, 16. So, the 17 was Talon?
Yep.
Yep.
And then Jacob and Tor. So in this game, it doesn't go by who has the higher dexterity. It's whoever wants to go first. So which one of the two of you at your 16s wants to go first?
Let's.
I don't mind starting.
All right.
So I take.
Well, sorry.
Oh,
That's on
Oh,
16.
we're not
which
going
one
yet.
of you will go first?
Thank you, sorry.
And then.
I'm ready to go. Ready to go.
Yeah.
I have 11.
Oh, so 6 and 11. All right.
I chalk my 6 up to the fact I have to get off of his back.
Yes. Yeah, that would be interesting. All right. So, Gildy, you can see that there's one that's sort of gotten quite close through the trees. What would you like to do?
How close is it to me?
I'm gonna say 10 feet. It's a little closer than that on the board, but yeah, roughly 10 feet. There's
Okay.
some faint branches between you and it and the trees that are nearby.
Okay. I am, I think I'm going to use my short sword
Yep.
to attack it.
And you get an extra attack on the first round.
Do. Okay, so the first roll is a 12.
12 misses.
Okay.
You think you hit it, and you sort of slice in, but it sort of bounces off one of those bony parts.
Gross.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my next attempt is a 15.
That hits.
Okay. And so since that hits, this one I get an extra 1d8
Yep.
damage. So let me just short sword. Wow. Okay, so the first that's 4 plus 8, which is 12 damage.
12 damage. All right. That guy looks hurt. You definitely sort of cut into him, but he's still there.
Okay. There is nothing else I would like to do with my turn.
All right. Next is them. They sort of seeing that one of them has been attacked. They sort of rush in. They are quite quick moving through the trees, despite their sort of slightly larger size. This one's going to rush up and attack Talon.
Yay.
24 to hit. I'm going to assume that hits.
Yeah.
All right. And 8 damage as it sort of hits you with its antlers and sort of almost lifts you off the ground for a second. Yep. I'm just making sure. Make a strength saving throw.
16.
All right, you sort of barely, you sort of stagger forward a little bit, but you manage to stay on your feet, and you feel like you've avoided being knocked down.
Okay.
All right, so that's that one. This one's going to sort of run through the trees. And it's got a choice of targets, so odds and evens. Evens. So going this way. And attacking Jacob.
No.
Oh, Jacob. So sorry. It hits. I'm going to assume you do not have a 25 armor class.
Not even close.
Oh, okay. That was at least semi-lucky.
Lucky for whom?
14 damage.
Jacob,
That was
got
a
it.
critical hit.
Wow.
And make a strength saving throw.
For the viewers, my strength is 8, so this is gonna Does a 3 do it?
No.
No.
You are knocked prone.
No.
All right. So that's that one and that one. This one is going to sort of move through the trees around to here and attack Gildy, as is this one. This one's going to try and come through and attack Leon.
No.
All right, so 2 attacks on Gildy.
So lucky.
Ooh, 21. Rolling really well here, guys. Sorry, and a 16.
They both hit.
Ooh, okay. Ow, 13 on the first hit.
Oh no.
See if I kill the party. Their first, second engagement. And 12 on the second hit.
Yikes.
And make 2 strength saving throws.
Okay. The first one is an 8.
That fails.
Okay. Should I bother with the second one?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
All right, and then on Leon, 23.
Oh my god.
Apparently, this particular dice likes to roll high. I just picked one at random.
Can you swap it with the one that Jessica had last time?
And a strength saving throw, please.
You didn't like your D20 last
I'm
time?
gonna make it.
I'm
I'm gonna make
actually
it.
currently not using
You can't knock
Well,
me
no,
down.
you should give it to Rob.
Yes.
18.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Ha
Did you not
All
get
right.
hit?
No, I got hit, but it did not knock me down.
Nice.
I don't know how, but
All
it
right.
did not knock me over.
Talon, you are next. You got knocked down, but
But I get up again.
you get up again.
No.
Isn't that Jacob?
Yeah, that's Jacob. All right, so you did.
I didn't get knocked down. I just want to do the song
But
because you said the line.
Yes, there is one behind you. I'm going to assume you attack it.
I want to attack the one that hit me.
Yes, that's the one from
Yeah.
behind. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yep.
All right, I punches it.
You punch it hard.
Nope. 10?
No.
Yeah. Vagina punches it again. Yay! 21.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Hooray! For all of 5 damage.
All right. And that's
Does it
on
look
that
hurt?
one. Yep. It looks a little hurt. You sort of cracked one of those bony parts.
Alright.
Jacob, you got knocked down.
So I was playing the experimental elixir a little wrong.
Yeah.
Every time I take a long rest, it goes inert, so I can only have one at a
Yeah,
time.
you can only have one at a time.
So my most recent one was the healing one. So
Yeah.
while I'm prone, can I get up and drink
Yep.
or? Okay.
That will be your action.
Okay, so I'll get up and drink the healing potion.
Okay.
And heal for 7 points.
All right. Did you want to? You still have half your movement left. You could move away from this thing. However, that could provoke an attack as you move it away from it.
I'm gonna stand my ground.
All right. Come at me. All right. Is that it for you?
Yeah.
All right, Jacob. Not Jacob. Torek.
Okay, well, I'm going to attack the one that's immediately in front
Yep.
with a swing of the warhammer. 13.
Hits. For those of you keeping track, that would mean its AC is 13.
Is this the right?
That's
Is
a
it?
D8.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, 12 damage.
Nice. That's on that one. It is looking quite hurt. Leo.
Oh.
So it was this one that attacked you.
Yes. Okay. I take it the bullseye lantern rod.
Yep.
Pulling that out, part of movement.
That's essentially free. If you're
Okay.
going to use it, that would be an action. Just
So
sort
it's
of
an
taking it out.
action to activate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak a word, disappear in a puff of mist, because I am not staying here.
Yeah.
I'm going to end up in a tree, maybe
Okay.
this tree or over here, because I got my boots
Yeah.
that mean I'm stable wherever I am.
Yep.
And then I click the wand, 60-foot cone of light, bam,
All right.
on those four.
You definitely notice like they sort of recoil a little bit. They do not seem to like the light.
Good.
All right. Mint.
Well, now Turok's between me and the critter.
You can get around him. You can move through his space. There's sort of trees on either side of you, but you can move through where he is to get to here and attack if you like.
Okay,
All right.
I will do that.
Yep.
Or
you
can
can
I flank
potentially
it?
also go around. Yep.
Let's do the
So
flanking
you go around
thing.
that tree, go around the other side, and yeah, now you have
All
flanking.
right.
You have advantage.
And I'm going to use my sword. Rapier.
Remember, so you roll twice. That's what
Oh,
flanking is. You get a
right.
better roll.
Well, then that certainly is helpful. So that one, where's the thingy? Attacks. I'm not on attacks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so 17.
That hits. Yep.
All right, I get to roll a d8. Yuck. Roll high, please. It's an 8 total.
8 total. That will do it.
Yay.
All right. So yeah, you run up and sort of stab it from behind, and it sort of rears up and then falls down,
Nice.
and it is gone.
Huzzah.
Gildy, back to actually do. You've got potentially a little bit of movement left. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You could move 5 feet if you wanted to.
I'm going to move myself into. 5 feet is only 1 square, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna still try to move closer to Jacob's position because I see he's with one by himself.
Yeah. We'll move you there.
All
All right. Gildy, back to you. You are prone.
Yes.
There are 3 around you.
And hurting.
But yeah.
But you're in a pool of light.
So
Cool.
one of the actions that you can take is to disengage. So if you get up and disengage, you do not provoke any attacks from any of them, and you can move away. They can still move up to get you, but at least you wouldn't. If you're trying to get away from them, you could do that without getting any attacks on you. But that would be your action.
Yeah. And how far away from them would I be able to move?
You'd be able to move half your movement, so probably
Which is not far.
10
'cause
feet.
I'm small.
Yeah.
I am going to. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to. Well, I'm going to stand up
Yep.
first of all. I'm going to disengage.
Yep.
And I am going to just like whatever direction I can move in
Yep.
that is away from
So,
them as far as I
You can go pretty much like here, or you can go like here. So sort of somewhere in this direction. You could flank with Jacob on this one here, if you wanted to.
I will.
You could try and also climb a tree as part of your movement.
I don't think I would climb a tree.
All right.
I'll go and I'll do the first one, not flanking one.
All right, so moving over here.
There.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. All right, so you've moved away from them. The demon deer attack. So this guy will just attack Jacob again. That's sort of right, nice and easy right there. Oh, there we go. 13.
13 misses.
All right, finally have a miss.
I'm equipping stuff now.
All right.
I don't have a 13 AC. I have an 18 AC. I was wearing no
Oh.
equipment.
All right, this one, now that Gildy's moved away, is actually going to move around to here and attack Talon from behind.
Oh, good.
Another 13.
I can miss that. That misses.
All right, they're starting to miss. Yay.
Hooray!
This one is going to move around to attack Gildy again. Let's hope it misses.
Please
That's
miss.
cocked.
Please miss.
That's a 12.
That misses.
Yay.
And this one. Yeah, he's sort of between targets at the moment. Is not attacking anybody. Is on his way to others. Maybe trying to flank Gildy. Who knows? Talon. You have one behind you again.
I don't like having one behind me. Alright, so I got one still in front of me that's damaged a
Nope.
little bit.
No, there's
I
none
finished
in
it
front of you
off.
anymore.
Oh,
That
oh,
was-
sorry, I thought. Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then I will spin around.
Yep. Getting caught in his antlers.
Tangled
Yep.
in my antler. My, theirs, whatever. Alright, and they are not damaged?
This one is a little bit damaged.
I will use a key point,
Okay.
and I'm going to make 3 punches at it.
All right.
Please don't roll badly.
Wow.
Woohoo! That's why the key point here. That third one. So I rolled a 3, then a 1. But that one is a 24 to hit.
Yes.
Yay! For 6 damage.
All right. That one is starting to look quite.
Alright.
Jacob. You still have one right in front of you.
If I cast a spell, does it get an attack
No.
against me? Then I'm going to take my Rubik's Cube out,
Yep.
twist it, throw it up in the air. It spins and starts going around like a disco ball at a party, and everything starts lighting up. So I'm casting Fairy Fire.
Nice.
So it does it in a 20-foot cube.
Okay.
So however many I can get with that one.
Yeah, you can definitely get those 3.
Okay. So they each get a Dexterity save versus 13, or else everyone that attacks them does it with advantage.
They all fail.
Nice.
Yep.
Disco party.
These 3, you have advantage to hit. Anything else you're doing?
I think that's it.
All right. Torok.
So I'm going to move up to the one that's close. That one, yeah.
All right.
And swing the Warhammer.
So there's some trees that you're moving around, so that's sort of where you end up. You are not quite flanking it.
So 19.
19 definitely hits.
For 8 damage.
That does it. Yeah, I'll replace one of these ones with the nice mini. Cool. There we go. All right.
Did you roll with advantage?
Oh yes, you did have advantage.
Oh,
Yeah, you killed it anyway. So.
I appreciate that though, because I could have rolled a 20.
Leon.
So the light doesn't really seem to be doing anything.
They have been not doing as well since they've been in the light.
So it does look like it is actually beneficial to keep the light on them.
Give me an intelligence check.
11.
You think so, yes.
So it is worth
But
it to keep
you
the
don't
light
need
on?
to spend an action to do it anymore. You can just sort of keep it in your hand and do something else if you like.
Where does this guy seem like he's going?
You're not quite sure. You sort of, started heading in this direction. Sort of heading for you, but you don't think they can climb, so...
Alright. Okay, then I'm just gonna kind of waste my turn because I'm just gonna cast Mage Hand
Alright,
so that now
you can hold the
it's
flashlight.
holding the flashlight and I pull out my bow.
Alright, sounds good. Mint.
Okay, so I am not particularly near any of them again
Yeah.
at this moment. So what I'm wondering is,
you
I've
could-
got that special ability on my boots. Would I be able to use them to do dash?
Yep, I mean, you could get to one without dashing.
Oh, if I can get to one without dashing, then
20
brilliant, because
feet
then
would
I
get
can
you
still
about
have
to
my
here, so-
action.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be dashing regardless.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
some like you're hacking your way through bushes to get there, but given Gildy's sort of training in how to move through the brush, you're able to move through it relatively quickly. It doesn't hinder you, so yeah, 20 feet of movement.
You
can
have
right up the next
inspired
one.
me, Gildy.
Yes.
Alright.
And you have advantage, so you can roll twice to hit this one.
Oh, fantastic. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna need that second one. They were the same twice in a
Yeah.
row. Are you kidding me?
That you jinxed the dice.
Okay, I'm going to then use my second wind as a bonus action since I did not hit either of those times.
Yep. Do some healing.
Alright.
Sorry, you're using second wind or action surge?
Second wind.
All right.
Wait. Yeah, that was second wind.
All right. So second wind is healing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was action surge.
All right.
My
so,
bad.
all right. Yeah. So you roll the extra attack.
Yeah.
All right.
I did not
actually, you
hit
still have
that
advantage on that attack. So.
Oh, do I?
Yep.
Okay, higher. Higher than a 4 or a 5, please. 2. Which means my total is 5.
All
But,
right,
yeah.
Nobody's listening to you. All right. Back to the top, Gildy. You have another one that's right there in front of you.
Yeah, sure do. I am.
Again, you can disengage, and this time you'd be able to go further because you don't have to get up from prone.
Yeah.
How damaged does the one look that's attacking Gildy?
Not very.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
Run away.
I'm gonna run away
Yeah?
from it
Hey,
again.
Better run valor. All right. So you disengage. Which direction do you want to head? Like this way?
Um.
You want to sort of head back to where people are?
Yeah,
All right.
that is what I would like to do.
So undoubtedly the light is
Yeah.
going like this,
Mhm.
so you might want to cross through the area that is lit rather than going into the dark.
Yes, that is a good idea.
20, 25 gets you to about there.
Okay.
So you're away and you're closer to friends.
Yes.
All right. That is your action and your move.
Yeah.
And they go. So this guy's gonna give up on you because you keep running away and that's no fun. So it's gonna go and attack Mint.
Of course.
No, not mint.
I haven't really been injured yet. I guess
It
it's my
sort of
save
trips
it.
over its own feet on the way there, and yeah, sort of goes head first to the ground and then gets up. It's like, you didn't see that. And the one that you were attacking is also going to attack you, missing, and the one attacking Jacob is going to hit.
My disco party ruined.
Yes, is that concentration for Fairy Fire?
Yes.
All right, so you have taken 10 points of damage,
Okay.
and make a concentration check. The DC is 10. So it's just a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. 15.
Yep, so your spell stays on.
Yes.
All right, that is all 3 of them, so Talon, you're next. There's one that's pretty much directly in front of you, but you have to go through Jacob to get there.
But it's injured?
No.
Damn it. Whatever. I want to defend Jacob, so I will leap towards that one.
All right, so you leap around to this side. Actually, if you want to, you can try and get to the other side of it, but you'd be sort of within threat range of 2 of them.
No thanks.
All right, so there. Yep. All right, and attack.
And I punches him.
New punches.
Hey, 23.
That hits.
Excellent.
I think you have advantage on him.
Oh yes, you do have advantage, so you can see if it's critical.
Nope.
All right.
6 damage.
Yep.
And then my bonus action.
Yep. I still have advantage.
Okay. Good thing it was advantage. First it was a 20. Then it was a natural 20.
All right.
Do I have to
So
roll to confirm?
Nope.
Was that okay? Can't remember how you work.
no, in this game it just happens.
There you go.
So yeah, so you just roll the dice
Roll
twice.
damage twice,
Yep.
and then add my modifier twice.
What?
No, once.
Twice. Damn it! Why can't I just take that one twice? 10 damage.
10 damage. That's pretty good.
Nice.
That guy hadn't taken any damage. He's now looking fairly hurt. Jacob, the one in front of you just got punched twice and is looking hurt.
I'm going to cast a firebolt at it.
Nice.
fire.
Now, are you in melee with it?
Yep.
Oh, so am I going to be disadvantaged because I'm casting right next to it? In a ranged attack?
Ranged attack in melee, you have disadvantage, but you have advantage because it has fairy fire, so it would be a normal attack
Or I could take out my dagger and stabby.
with advantage. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do that, I think.
All right.
So break out the dagger. 21 or a natural 20.
Nice.
This is working.
All right, the disco party.
Sorry.
Roll your d4 twice.
It is a d4. I was looking at the crossbow. 4.
Nice.
1, 5, 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage.
Oh wait, this gets counted twice, right? Or
No,
the plus
you're-
only gets counted once. Okay,
Yeah,
8
plus
points
only
of
gets
damage.
counted once. Wait. He is very hurt. He's on his last leg. Not looking too good at all. Torok.
I'm going to move into javelin distance.
Yeah.
I can safely throw.
I would say that's about there. And at the one that they're attacking?
Yeah.
Yep.
Finish it off.
Leaving just the two
Uh,
on
so
You have
the first one's a 12, which would be a miss.
Yep.
But because of advantage, that would be a 20.
That hits.
Nice.
And the javelin is 1d6 plus.
Disco.
Party.
Disco party of
So
dead.
9 damage.
Yep. You throw that javelin, it like sinks to like just a foot sticking out of it and like knock it back a foot as it goes down.
Nice.
You guys just wailed on that one this turn.
All right.
It
Leo,
glows no longer.
you've got your bow out.
Yeah, and there's those two.
Yep.
This one is hurt.
Neither of them are hurt. I think you missed entirely last time, right?
Okay.
I did completely miss.
This one has fairy fire? I will shoot that one.
All right.
So 19?
19 hits.
All right. Seven damage.
All right. Next is Mint. The one in front of you just took an arrow from somewhere up above you.
Nice. All right.
The glowing one.
The glowing arrow.
No, the glowing
The
glowing
one
creature
with fairy fire.
took the
yeah.
arrow.
All right. It's probably not happy that it's glowing, I assume, or it doesn't care. Probably doesn't care. Anyway, do I have advantage or no?
Yep.
I do. Okay. Well, that's better than the last time. Let's see if I can do even better than that. Yes! Okay, so that would be a total of 24.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and I get hit with. It'd be helpful if I actually looked at what I was doing. Okay. 1d8 plus 3, so rapier again.
Yep.
So 7 total.
All right. That guy's starting to look pretty hurt.
Yay.
Gildy, back to you. You are well away from the fighting now. You can sort of hear combat through the woods at this point. You're having trouble sort of seeing where it is, but you're sort of safe. There's nothing around you.
Okay.
But this is bright light.
That's true, but it's just trees.
Okay.
So you can see the light filtering through, but there's sort of lots of brush in between. You can probably see a little bit of this guy, but yeah, you can't quite see who it's fighting or what's going on. So.
Okay. I'd like to move to a spot where I can have, where I'm able to see and use my bow.
Yep. So you can probably just come out to here, and you can have line of sight on that one.
Okay. Then that is the one that I would like to attack
All right.
with my swift bow.
Okay.
Not
Do
seeing
I?
what's glowing.
Yeah. Do I have advantage on that?
You do.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of cover. There's some branches and sort of saplings between you and it, but
Yeah.
yep,
That's a 24.
you hit.
And that does 5.
Yep.
And then this I can shoot twice.
Yep.
So I'm going to do that again, hopefully. And that is a 23
That hits. Yep.
and a 4.
All right. It is looking very hurt, but it is not down yet. All right. The deer go. The deer are not particularly happy with this encounter at this point. They thought they were doing really well initially. You know, to knock you guys down, and then yeah, no, it's not going well for them. So this guy's gonna run away. You can get an opportunity attack against it.
I'm going to take that opportunity attack.
You do not have advantage on this one.
Understood. I don't think I hit it. You said it had to be a 13?
Yeah.
Yeah.
12.
12.
All
So
right,
just
so
one
it's
short.
running off through the forest.
So it's just like, yeah. Oh.
And this one, yeah, he's gonna try and flee as well. You're the only one within sort of range, so you can attack him.
She's already used her reaction.
Oh yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
so
You
I
only get
can't.
one reaction,
Correct.
and no one else is close enough. So he's also going to. Yeah.
Did you have your bow drawn though, or?
Yeah, but you have to be
But
within
you have
5
to be
feet.
within.
Has to
5.
be melee.
Okay.
Yep. So you can hear them now crashing off through the forest.
That guy's still glowing.
Yes, he is.
We could track him.
You can try and shoot him if you want.
Can I chase him?
You can try and run after them if you want. They are moving fairly fast.
Now, Gildy's ranger ability
Yep.
says that we aren't.
You aren't
encumbered,
hindered by the difficult
But as soon
terrain.
as I leave the party, I'm assuming I do, to a degree, get encumbered, or how does
I'm
that
going to
work?
say that for at least this round, you would definitely not be sort of hindered.
Okay.
So you can move your full speed.
Okay.
You
So
are
what
next.
was their speed?
They moved at 50.
I was afraid it was going to be like a number like that. All right. So the one that's glowing, I
Yep.
guess I'll move as close as I can. So 40.
Yep. Okay, so you're within 10, 15 feet of it.
I pull up my stick.
Yep.
I throw my stick.
You throw your stick. You have advantage.
Yeah, it's glowing.
Ooh. Still just 11.
Yep, that misses.
But it
Jacob,
comes back.
want to try anything? They're running away.
I'll do a fireball as they're running away.
All right. I'm going to say you can try and move to get a clearer shot.
Don't bolt me.
There's definitely stuff between you and it. It doesn't quite have full cover, but there's a lot of stuff between you and it.
Okay.
So it's going to have a slightly higher AC, but you do have advantage because it is still glowing.
Okay. 17.
Misses.
Ooh.
Yeah. So next is Torok.
I don't think I can move in.
You can try and use your axe.
This wouldn't be a situation where you.
All right.
No? Aww.
All right. You're just gonna sort of move closer to the rest of the
Yeah.
group, but otherwise not give chase. Yeah. All right. Leon.
I'm gonna shoot it.
All right. You're sort of in the same position as Jacob. It does have, you do have advantage, but you will have a higher AC.
Well, that's not gonna hit it. 19?
Yep, that hits. I'm pretty sure you're going to take it out.
Eat arrow, beastie. That is 6 damage.
Yep. You take him out zips through the trees, just clips him in the flank, but that's enough. And that one is out.
Ha
All right. Mint, are you going to try and follow after any of these folk? You could use your boots now.
I could, and that one has already been injured, correct?
No.
No, that
This one hasn't been injured at all?
No.
No.
Okay, I have
You've
an
been
idea.
very, very much focusing your fire on one at a time.
Yeah, I kind of have an idea of what I can do when I get up to it, so I'm going to use my boots to dash,
All right.
and then I'm going to attack. Let's see what I can do here.
Yep. You can get up next to it.
Okay.
The gnome just goes.
Oh, those gnomes.
Off into the darkness.
Yeah.
Full of surprises.
You're on your own in the forest.
I'm on my own in the woods with
Yes.
this thing. But if I can pause it and get it distracted to attack me, then the others might be able to catch up. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that'll at least hurt it. Okay. So. Alright. I'm gonna use the rapier.
All right,
Aye, please. Okay, so that's a total of 20.
that hits.
Nice.
Okay, and hopefully I get a high enough roll on this. Come on, high. You know, big numbers. 6
6
plus 3,
Oh,
so
okay,
9.
9. Yeah, it sort of failed its intelligence check to realize it should run away, and it's gonna try and attack you in a moment.
Oh, no.
But Gildy, technically, you go first.
Is there anywhere I can move where I can get a shot, a shot at it?
Yeah. That would be a very rough shot, but you maybe can kind of see through the trees.
Well, I might as well try and take it.
All right.
So is that the AC thing, or is it
Yeah, it's
disadvantage?
just gonna have a higher AC.
Okay. So that is a 24.
Yeah, not that high. You hit.
Okay. And
All these arrows zipping through the trees.
that's a 7
Yeah.
damage. And then I'm gonna use my bow again because I can do that. The second shot's a 9.
No.
Okay.
It's not high enough. It has taken a little bit more damage. I'm going to give it another intelligence, and now it realizes that no, staking around is not a good idea, and it is going to try and keep running away.
But didn't you say you rolled intelligence before and it decided it was going to stay?
I did, but then it
But
took
then it
more
got hit again.
damage. So initially it was like, I took some damage, I'm going to hurt this person. Then it was like, I took more damage, maybe I shouldn't stick around to hurt this person.
That's fair. So I'm going to talk you out of it. Okay.
Yep. So yes, he's going to run off the map somewhere.
But this is a new round.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
you should have an opportunity attack.
Oh, okay. I'll take my attack of opportunity on it as it's trying to flee me.
Yeah. Roll really well.
That is a no.
Okay.
That was only 9. That's stay. Ah, damn it.
No.
Can
Nope.
I at least follow and try to get one more boomerang shot at it?
Did your boomerang come back?
It did, yes.
Okay.
That's really far away.
What's your range on your boomerang?
Well, it's 60 and then 120. So I'm assuming I have some kind of a lesser attack bonus to anything in the 61 to 120 range. But I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so you'd have disadvantage. So you have disadvantage, and it has a higher AC. Go ahead and give it a shot.
Yeah, right. It's the lower one. Never
Yeah.
mind. So yeah, it would have been 12.
Yeah. Nope. You throw your boomerang.
And it keeps going.
So what you all see is you throws the boomerang, it spins, hits a tree, and then just decides to go that way for a while.
Is this a standard way you end combat?
Yes. This means I'm done.
And how many hours?
12?
D12, yeah. It's by your computer.
Like what? I can't.
1 hour. All right.
Well, that's not too bad.
All right. So yes, if anybody else going to try and shoot
No.
at this deer? It's technically still within bowshot range.
I've got a crossbow.
My
bolt.
firebolt is 120 feet.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you could get to it.
Yeah. If everyone else is, then I'm going along with the group.
Yeah, it would be within 120 feet.
No advantage, right?
No.
Nope.
All right. Leon.
No, I'm just turning off the light and walking down the tree. Which is good, or else I'd undoubtedly fall into the tree.
So I can try one more crossbow bolt at it?
You would be within range of crossbow. Yep.
Okay. Because it's only 80 feet, so I'm just
Yeah,
double
yeah.
checking. Hi. Oh, hi. Ooh, that'll do it. 23.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. And
Roll high.
Oh, wait, that's the wrong dice.
D8.
Yes, D8. D8 plus 8 plus 3 is 11.
That does it. See all the trees, and it falls. All right.
Yay.
Well done.
Yeah.
And can I get my javelin out of the other
Oh
one?
yes. Yeah, you can retrieve your javelin.
Okay, yeah.
Give me just a. Apparently, it's leading the party now. Give me a D20 roll.
All of us are just Tor?
19.
All right. Javelin is perfectly recoverable. It is fine.
Nice.
All right. So I know we're running a little bit later than sort of we'd like to go, but I'm gonna just go to a good little stopping point next moment. So you recover yourselves. So a bit of a sort of an attack out of nowhere. Gildy is quite hurt.
Very hurt.
Yeah. How are the rest of you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm very hurt myself.
I'm very hurt as well.
I'm pretty hurt.
I am not hurt.
Doing all right.
Not like the last time.
This is the opposite from previous combat. Yeah, do you want to do anything before you move on?
Yeah,
do you want to just
short
make
rest.
camp here?
I would like
Short
to
rest.
try a survivalist check to see if the antlers or any of the exoskeleton is harvestable as potential tools, or even
Sure, go
just
ahead.
something I could whittle.
Yep.
Okay. 18 plus my survival, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
22.
So 22?
Yeah, you managed to sort of break off a bit of antler. You think you can sort of, with a good knife, you can probably make it into essentially sort of a knife-like object.
Okay.
Or use it as a good, like, tip to a spear or something like that.
I can try some medicine on Gildy if that would do anything.
It's also, if it's getting kind of late in the day,
Yeah.
I have 2 spell slots available that I could do a cure wounds, one for each of us.
That's
Yeah.
probably better.
That could work as well.
But if we take a short rest,
You will regain some hit points with a short rest.
then we'll regain hit points, some of us will regain abilities, and we can carry on and not use up our spell slots.
Sure.
Short rest it is.
Okay.
All
I
right.
can regain some
Now,
stuff.
it is getting late in the day. A short rest will mean that you pretty much may be moving on for half an hour to an hour. Do you just want to rest? Do you
Do
want
a
to stop
long
here?
rest instead of a short rest.
I think that Gildy would probably recommend to the party that they just take the long rest and recover, since so many of us have been
Yeah.
injured.
Torok will take first watch.
Okay.
I will take it with you since both of us are not hurt.
Okay. Gildy, I heal you for 7 points of damage.
Oh.
And myself for 5.
All right. So you find a decent little spot. I mean, it's not a great camping spot anywhere in here. You're not going to be comfortable sleeping on the ground. Again, sort of gnarled roots and sort of no real flat areas. There's a couple, like, and you're probably going to be like jammed together too. There isn't really any large clearings at all.
I will be in a tree.
All right.
I kind of figured that.
How are you sleeping in a tree?
I'm trancing in a tree.
You're trancing. Oh yes. All right. So you just found a good spot to sort of balance and.
Yep.
All right.
And I can take some time and find one
Trance party.
that's ideal.
All right. So you're over here. Right. We got a
Yeah.
party that's sort of bedding
I mean,
down.
I cast alarm, like a couple different, like, alarm around.
Well, you can also just sort of
before we-
encircle the area, right? So,
Yeah. Well, but it's a 20-foot, it's like a 20-foot area.
yeah.
So I'll like do like, 4, so that the middle space is not covered, because if it's in there, then that's too late. But so that there's like 20 by 20 by 20 by 20 kind of around us,
Oh, so
All right.
4 20-foot circles around.
Yeah.
Clever.
so that we have a little bit further out.
All right. So yeah, sort of a big alarm area.
Yeah.
And
And it'll be audible.
Yep. So everyone can hear it.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, you've done some healing. You're sort of just resting. Probably eating some food. So the first hour of your long rest potentially could be considered a short rest.
Leon definitely, like, first thing when we're making camp and stuff like that, definitely, like, prestidigitation to remove the blood, mending to fix the clothing so that I look immaculate,
Yep.
and, like, definitely not happy about the fact that I'll probably have a scar.
All right. So, yeah, you finished your meal. You start to try and find some place to rest. You're taking first watch. Is somebody taking first watch with Torok?
Me.
Both.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, so yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
neither of us were injured.
So you two are sort of taking the first watch. We'll put you sort of towards the outside of the group, looking around. Again, there's the alarm spell up.
Do you remember last night when I said there were red eyes?
I didn't disagree with you.
Okay.
Um,
But seriously, you threw a rock at it and missed.
Well, if I hit, then we would have had this problem a lot sooner and would have gotten it out of the way.
Yes.
Relatively quickly after people have fallen asleep, you can all both make a perception check.
Okay.
23.
He definitely sees more than I do. I got like a 5.
5. All right. You can hear something moving in the forest.
Not again.
You are apparently looking in the right direction, we'll say. You can definitely hear something in the forest. You know from what you're hearing and sort of the sounds that it's moving towards you, that it is large. And it comes within sight without initially sort of breaking the alarm spell. And what you see is this hulking figure, like massive, sort of, give me an Arcana check. This is a really low roll.
If I can see it now, does
No, you can't see
I
anything
can't
like
see
that.
it. Because
5.
5 is good enough. It's pretty much just if you roll like a
Yeah.
1 or negative something. You have at least heard of ogres at some point.
Oh.
But this does not match the description of what you've heard of. It's surrounded in sort of shadows that seem to be wrapping themselves around it. Its eyes are sort of void sockets that seem to be sort of just giving off that sort of shadow essence. And there's sort of tendrils of shadows that are snaking off of it. It sets off your alarm, and we'll pick that up next week.
Oh, good.
Yay! 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks,
Oh,
yes.
great,
So
yes.
we are not here next week. We're taking a bit of a break, but we will catch you up in 2 weeks and see what happens with this strange shadow ogre thing.
What's the actual date of the 2 weeks from now?
The 23rd.
23rd.
Yep.
Okay.
So yes, we will see you on the 23rd.
Oh.
And
What was found in our packs?
oh, what was found in your pack? So yes, as you were setting down to sleep, Torok moved through his pack to get some food and some rations, and found a medallion in there with a strange little insect symbol on it. Which could potentially be identified if with a high enough Arcana roll.
27.
All right.
Wow.
Of an amulet of protection against insects.
Nice.
Not quite sure where that came from, but you find that in your pack.
New
All right.
friend.
All right. There we go. We got an amulet. So thank you very much for joining us. We will see you again in 2 weeks on the 23rd, and we'll be back here again, not quite going up a level, but definitely on the next level. Thank you, and see you then. Bye-bye.